All right, we didn't get to do the fly thing that I thought would work. It didn't work. So that's out. The next best thing I can do, hopefully you've seen all of our videos. Hopefully this will start to tie some stuff together for you. You've heard me talk about laying the line inside. Really, like I said, the line and the fly thing just didn't work out. Hopefully you've seen my golf ball on a string. The one thing about that is it's a good visual, but I'm hoping that tied in with this visual, you'll get what's going on. The out and around. What this represents is the path of my rod tip from the beginning of the sweep to the forward casting stroke. Here comes my chipmunk. So, of course it's condensed. It's very condensed, all right? But this should give you an idea of what an out and around is. If I do a C-spay, okay, river's flowing that way, I come around, I pick up, come here, bam, line lays down. This is not the line, but the line lays down. You know how it lays down when you do this, bam, kind of like that. What this is the path of my rod tip that I'm going to use. This is what you got to think of mentally when you're doing the sweep to forward casting stroke. Once again, C-spay, pick up, bam, rod tip on the water. What I'm going to do, here's the out. The rod travels away from me first, then comes around, and the 45 out, it's not perfect, but it's kind of like, that's my best reference. Think 45 out, then drift the rod over to vertical, and go for your forward casting stroke, This is the path of your rod, all right? The main thing about this, what it should illustrate for you, is that when you do a sweep, you don't go here and go here like this. It's out, away first. This out, and then thinking of swinging this thing around like a golf ball on the end of a string, and then over the top. Once you start that, if you get this all together, the line to the fly literally is under tension from the beginning of the sweep. And like I said, that's the part we can't show you. If you could see that, if we could have shown you, what happens is once you start the sweep, you will see the fly, wherever it happened to land as the anchor, most typically around here, you will see the fly all of a sudden go, dook, and it will stay there. What it won't do is, if it's weighted, is it won't sink. It'll just stay right there kind of hovering, and as you come around here and as you hit this and then drift over the top, the fly, whichever direction it happened to be pointing, because it could be pointing in any direction with that particular cast, all of a sudden you'll see the fly, what we call a pivot or pirouette. So it's facing exactly 180 degrees out from your target. That's when you do the drift, and when you see that happen, that's when you bring the rod forward for the forward casting stroke. That fly hovering near the surface, instantly out of the water and gone. That's why this casting does so much better with a weighted fly. That fly never has a chance to sink, all right? It's hovering right there the whole time under tension. But this is key. You've got to have this out and around, because as soon as you put an angle change in it, if you go here and then here, that angle change, as soon as you do that, tension is lost, the fly drops. Or if you come here and come back and stop in a linear motion to stop and then go forward, as soon as you stop, the fly drops. Once that fly drops just a few inches, you now have to put enough power into the forward cast to not only make the fly cast, but to yank that sucker out of 6, 8, 10, 12 inches of water. That's why the out and around is way more efficient with a weighted fly. Okay, this is with a C-spay. Like, once again, river's flowing that way. What I would do, drift is done, strip, back of the head, C-spay up, bang, stop for a second, let everything settle, sweep around, out to a 45, drift over the top, forward casting stroke. That's that. So now I'm going to reconfigure this in the parry poke. Okay. Now we're configured for a parry poke, river flowing that way. I'm going to come up, lift, dump the line. Line lays something. It may lay in a squiggle like this. It may pile up however you decide to do it. All right, whatever the conditions dictate. But we all know we come up, poke the line. This is the shape of the rod tip for the sweep to the casting stroke. Here we go. So when you start, this is out, literally on the parry poke, what you don't dump and then just go back to make a cast. There's a movement, and if this is something that's, I don't think I've ever mentioned before, that part of this going out is just rock slightly forward, all right? You don't have to push out. Just rock and then slightly out and then around to 45. Drift to the vertical, forward casting stroke. It's small. It's not this big actually. I should make this very small. Very small but very effective. Such a small move, it will make a huge, huge difference in your casting because it establishes immediate tension throughout the whole line. Well, not the whole line until you get part of it out, but the key is it establishes immediate tension, right off the bat. If you lift here, you'll notice if you ever do this, here's the poke. Pick up, poke, and you go like this, you'll notice you don't feel anything on the rod. It just kind of feels weightless because you don't have tension, a tense connection between the rod tip and the water. The only way you're going to get that is you have to push out. Pretend golf ball on the end of a string. Get it to swing around. Pendulum motion. So we start, pick up, poke, let it sit a second, and then push out, then come around. That's in every one, all right? I just showed you, this would be the usual parry poke. If I was doing a downstream parry poke, all it would be is a reverse image, and the river's flowing that way. Downstream parry poke, I come up, slide the line in back of me, dump it here. It would be the same image, just reversed off that side, all right? Out and around every time. Okay, let me reconfigure for double spay. Go. Okay, this is for a double spay. Once again, this is not true to scale. It's not perfect. It's just to give you an illustration. It's something to get it so you kind of start to visualize. This is double spay, same current flow. This is a reverse double spay because I don't want to switch the river flow on and get everybody more confused than they probably already are. All right, river flow, still that way. Reverse double spay for me because I'm right-handed. I'm going to fly swing to the end. I'm going to pick up, plop, lay the line down. Now I'm going to start my sweep. Here's the rod tip path. Push out, see the out, around to 45, drift over the top, cast forward, right there. Every one of them, one more time. Here we go. Pick up the line. This is my version of double spay, which is quite different from everybody else. You should just try all the different versions, find the one that works for you, but I find this works best for me. I lift high, bring the line in very close to me, plop it here, stop, wait for it to settle, then I'm going to push out, 45, drift over the top, cast. That's it. Every cast, out and around. If it's a big out, this is the biggest out and around is on the double spay, all the way to, there's an out and around on the parry poke. It's not very big, but it's there. It's crucial. Crucial. One of the most crucial parts of the cast. This is how you get, in all these casts, constant tension or constant motion, constant load, whatever you want to call it. Once you start this movement, if you can keep this semicircular movements, there's no stopping. No stopping equals no slack. No stopping means tension on the system at all times, all the way through the cast. Constant tension, quite frankly, I think it means also less energy put into the cast on your part for a better cast, okay? Another thing, constant tension. I'm probably going to have some people arguing with me on that, but I'll meet anybody out on the river, and if they want to go head-to-head against me on casting with this. Linear, back and forth, stop. As soon as you stop, even if it's for a millisecond in the wind will affect your line very much. As soon as you stop, that tension comes off the system, 1/10 of a second, the wind will move that line. This, believe it or not, you're going to find that as long as the wind's coming from your side, no matter which side you're fishing, which side, as long as it's a side cast, side motion, or quartering side, your casting will improve. You will not believe how easy it is to cast in the wind up to a point. Let's be reasonable here, but a side wind only helps the system. And it's kind of weird. Let's say the wind, let's use the river going, let's use this particular, same thing, reverse double. River's going that way, and the wind's going that way. So I'm going to use reverse double because the wind's going that way. And you always want to have your casting stroke coming off on your downwind side. So river going that way, wind going that way, reverse double. I'm going to pick up, drop, come around, around, around. And right here, when you do this, this is the part that I think is kind of cool. The wind, since our goal is to tension this system, because the wind is blowing into this bag, if you kind of, the line's kind of bagging out here, it actually adds tension to the cast. When you're casting with a side wind, you're actually going to find that you have to use less energy on the forward stroke because the wind actually, if you can call it a load, actually loads the system up for you. It's a really cool feeling if you get this down. If you get this down, I guarantee you, you will not give it up. Literally. I've been doing it for 30 years now. I'm still impressed. Still impressed. I go out on a windy day and I'm just like, I can't believe I'm still fishing. We got some video of that. I hope it shows up on the 8-foot 9-inch 4-weight in wind, not horrendous wind, but challenging wind. Challenging enough that if the stuff turns out, I think you'll see, remember 8-foot 9-inch 4-weight and throwing a streamer and the thing's just zinging them, absolutely zinging them. Okay? I hope this helps. I know it's kind of crappy stuff, but it's the best we got. It's the only thing. This tied in with a golf ball demonstration, and I think we got some of the stuff with the drone a while back. If you just combine them all and look at them and listen, watch and listen, I think you'll be able to put it all together and get it. It's I'm not going to tell you Skagit casting is easy. It's probably not, well, it's not easy to learn. It looks easy once you learn it, but I don't know that's any more difficult than any other style of casting to learn. I will say that some people are probably going to have more of an aptitude or affinity towards it, and some of you may have more trouble with it, and I'll explain here in a second. Because if you're really a linear caster, trying to break that linear back, stop, forward, that's going to be difficult. I've already seen it with people. It's incredibly difficult. Myself, people like me, and what I mean by that, in single-handed overhead casting, I always, for some weird reason, never got a true 180. I always casted slightly off to the side and then came forward in a different direction forward. So this whole thing of coming around to 45, then drifting to a vertical, is almost a natural thing for me. And I know there's going to be other people just like it. People that have a hard time keeping a true 180. If you're one of those people that find that if you stand in the alleyway and you cast and your rod scrapes the building over here on the back cast, but not on the forward cast, you're going to adapt to this casting very quickly probably. If you're the kind of person who can stand in an alleyway and cast both back and forward without touching the rod on the brick walls on either side, you're probably going to have a hard time adjusting this. So that's just the truth, okay? Well, that's all I got. That's all I can put forth at this time. Like I said, I hope it helps. All right?